Red and blue lights washed over my driveway like a siren tide. The governor stood beside me in my open garage, and a rookie officer's boot hit a thin slick of oil under my '69 Camaro. The pistol snapped one crack, and the governor folded to the concrete. Yeah, that happened. I dropped to my knees before I even knew I'd moved. Hands braced. Where the medic told me hard pressure, don't let up counting under my breath, while the whole cul-de-sac held its breath with me. Across the lawn, the HOA president, who'd been trying to break me for months, stared with her phone still warm in her hand. And for the first time, I saw it hit her that this wasn't a game. My name's Evan Cole. I live at Cedar Shore at Pine Hollow. Neat little lakeside streets. Glossy welcome packets, rules that read longer than a mortgage, and a woman named Marla Whitcomb who loved those rules. Like they were a crown, you know what I mean. My church is my garage. Pegboard outlines, sockets in foam trays, the Camaro in pepper black, breathing slow under fluorescent hum. The smell of gasoline, leather, and pine drifting in from the water. Order control, the one place I could put things where they belong. Marla didn't like people who didn't bow. She showed up at 6:02 a.m. with a clipboard and a smile made of teeth. Mr. Cole, garage door left open. Past quiet hours. Is $500. Repeat violations will trigger a lien, then a week later, a photo of my fence with a tape stretched tight. 72 inches maximum is 70 fix in 48 hours. And when I asked why the corner lot looked like a fortress, she said, we enforce what we see. Bullies come in all volumes. Hers was tidy, and I tried to stay patient. Everything breathed through the small humiliations. But paper doesn't forget, so I started looking closer. The county map showed thin public access strips to the lake. The HOA welcome map shaved little slivers off them, like a careful thief. The invoices from Ellery Development billed our HOA for shoreline studies and algae reports with numbers that felt like a joke. A shell company called Pine Basin Solutions, tied to Marla's maiden name, catching deposits a week after those padded bills. Half in, half out, a rhythm you can feel, even if you don't want to. I stuffed copies into a manila envelope and mailed it to a state channel. A friend swore was clean. I didn't expect anything. Maybe a board intern, maybe a form letter. Definitely not the governor's sedan. Rolling up my drive 2 weeks later. At dusk, agents moving like metronomes. Agent Ruiz flashing a badge. Mercer. Scanning angles, Governor Hale stepping into the light, with the kind of tired that comes from reading too many lies, shaking my hand and saying, "You've done patient work, Mr. Cole," and before I could answer, the street exploded. Patrol cars slid into our cul-de-sac. Sideways doors flew open. Commands overlapped into one long wall of noise. Hands face down. "Don't move," and the sergeant read from a slate. Like a curse someone else had written. Caller reports, militia bombs, ambush at the garage, and I knew that voice without hearing it again, because I could feel Marla across her perfect lawn. Chin high, phone in hand, ready to watch the show. Ruiz was cool and squared up. State protection detail. Stand down badges in the air, but fear drives faster than reason. The rookie took 2 hard steps from asphalt to my sealed concrete. His boot kissed that coin-sized oil sheen I'd missed. Physics took over the weapon. Barked one unforgiving time. I caught a governor by the shoulder with a medic who didn't blink, and the world shrank to gauze and counting breaths. "Hands here, on 3 hard pressure. Do not let up, doctor," Mercer said. Voice calm as a level, and I locked my palms where he placed them, leaning my weight into a stranger's life, while my wife Lena appeared in the doorway, like a second plan I didn't know I needed. Lena doesn't ask permission. She mirrored our living room TV so the whole driveway could see, cranked the sound bar, and the night filled with a clean operator voice. What's your emergency then? A performance. Every neighbor recognized Marla in full costume. The quiver. The gasp, this is Marla. Whitcomb at Cedar Shore. My neighbor Evan has rifles. He's meeting militia people, I heard them say. Bombs. They're planning an ambush with the governor. Please hurry. And you could feel the air tilt. You could hear the rookie's breath change. You could see the sergeant's shoulders drop, because the story they'd been fed just cracked in the middle. Lena wasn't done. The TV flipped to body cam. Jitter tilt, the stumble on my floor, the flash, the accidental discharge. The truth no one wanted replayed in 1080p while I counted 7, 8, 9, and the governor squeezed my wrist once like a man who wasn't going to miss the rest of his life if he could help it. Scene is ours. Ruiz called quieter now, perimeter only, and the noise drained out of the patrol cars like a bad dream leaving your mouth. At St. Albans, in a room that smelled like bleach and sleep deprivation, I laid out the paper for a chief of staff with hard eyes, county map with green public access slivers. HOA welcome, map with red lines, shaved a foot here. 2 feet there, 50 times, until those slivers stitched into a private waterfront lot. No one voted on invoices, stacked like fiction. Pine Basin deposits mirroring them with a half-beat delay signatures that matched in ways you don't get by accident. And her face did that thing people do when the puzzle flips and they realize the picture is bigger than their comfort. So she redraws reality, then pays herself to manage it, she said, and I nodded. Because that's the shape. While Ruiz said quietly, and she primed my rookie with a lie that almost wrote a headline, and the radio answered him with a curt warrants in motion. In the parking garage, a perfect suit stepped from behind a pillar like a stage cue. Grant Ellery, with a smile that wanted my briefcase. Let me secure those materials for Mr. Cole, he said. And Ruiz said no, and Ellery reached anyway. So I did what my body decided. Let the handle go with my right, planted, and put a short left into his jaw. Not cinematic, just honest. He sat down on concrete. Like gravity had an opinion, and 2 troopers with no sense of humor finished the thought. Back home, the state moved like weather steady, inevitable. But the bylaws still lived on paper where they always had, and while I spent my days on depositions and scans, Lena went to work in the one language Marla respected. She pulled the bylaws PDF, then wrote crisp notices to the HOA inbox, with every neighbor CC'd bylaw. 7.4 color palette. Porch sign painted bay blue when approved colors were Patriot or Midnight. 48 hours. To remedy $25 per day. Photographic evidence attached then. Bylaw 11.2. Waste receptacles for bins left out, 800 p.m. $50. Then Bylaw 9.1. Unseasonal decor for a pumpkin flag in April. Well, just a mirror. And the replies turned from confused to entertained to grateful. Our neighbor Ed, retired accountant, high priest of paperwork, posted his doorbell video of Marla at my property line screaming, I am this. Built this neighborhood. You are nothing. And you can't unsee that. You can't pretend that's leadership. The board called an emergency meeting because suddenly, silence cost more than action. The clubhouse was packed folding chairs, scraping coffee breath, and Nerves Ed front row with his bylaws like a hymn book. Frank, the acting VP, tapping the mic and rattling off motion of no confidence. Motion to open financials to an independent audit. And Marla stood with perfect hair and that polished calm people wear. When their whole story depends on it, there's been a tremendous amount of misinformation, she said, looking straight at me, and I will not allow a witch hunt to destroy property values. And then the doors opened. 2 state troopers walked in with the lead investigator. He held a sheet like a blade. "Marla Whitcomb," he said, voice that didn't need a mic. "You are under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud. Wire. Fraud, money laundering, and for filing a malicious false report that resulted in a shooting," and the cuffs clicked with a sound the room felt in its bones. Phones came up, a few claps broke the hush. The treasurer tried to slide sideways and found his own pair. Waiting, the 3rd board member stared at his shoes like they could dig him a tunnel. They walked Marla past me, and for a second the mask fell all the way off. "You ruined everything," she hissed, and I didn't feel big. I felt tired and kind of sad. I said, "You did, and they took her into a bright morning that didn't care who she used to be. If this were a movie, that's where you'd cut. Door shuts, credits, roll bully removed neighborhood exhales. But real life keeps its receipts. There's still a legal line item on our budget that makes my eye twitch. There are folks who swear the problem wasn't the scheme. It was me not keeping it quiet. The governor's scar will tug when it rains. That rookie will hear a heel scuff on concrete someday and go right back to my garage. Ellery will hire lawyers who treat delay like oxygen. And our new board will mess up something honest, and we'll have to fix it with patience instead of pitchforks." A week after the meeting, I scrubbed the floor on my hands and knees, sealed the slab, hung every tool back into its outline. Lena slid a stack of certified mail receipts onto my bench and said, "We keep these proof matters." The Camaro caught and settled into a low, steady growl that made the lake sound like it was agreeing. And for a minute, the world felt level again. People ask what made the difference. Luck. The governor, Lena's screen magic, the agents. I think it was simpler power. Love's quiet, and we stopped being quiet, paper. Met daylight and didn't look away. A belt and 2 hands stayed on a wound until someone stronger said, "You can stop now." That's it. That's the whole sermon. So tell me what you think. Did I do the right thing broadcasting that 911 call and body cam to my whole street? Or did I cross a line for the greater good? Do HOAs protect neighborhoods or hand petty people a badge to swing? If you've lived something like this, drop your story, hit subscribe. So this reaches the next person standing in a garage wondering if they should speak up. I'll be in the comments, reading, arguing, learning, because justice is maintenance, not a moment.